What's happening, hot stuff? It's Josh and Rock. We're in for Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. Thank you. Get the camera off my breasts. Speaking of breasts. No, it's about a guy. It's okay. Lynn.
Yes.
I say this from a place of being a fat bearded man. You know, like when you hear people talk about how special it is to see someone who looks like them in a sport because it makes them feel good. So, like, it could be based on gender. It could be based on race, right? Like why are you taking your top off? Oh, yeah, that's why you like Nikola Jokic. Yes, big white dude.
I'm a chubby white fella, and there happens to be a resemblance.
See, there you go. But see, if we were to say that, it would be offensive. Like, I like seeing white people do stuff. It's like, I don't think so, Chief. But, like, when Tiger Woods golfs and he's black, we can say that.
It's definitely the chubby aspect. I also want DJ Burns to be king of the world.
Okay, but you don't look like DJ Burns. First of all,
No,
he's fat. He's not chubby. He's fat, and that's okay. But I bring this up because a lot of times when you look at people, and like Tiger's a great example, like why golf exploded for a stretch, because a lot of black folks who didn't golf said, you know what, I'm going to golf now because that guy looks like me, and I feel like there's someone that's in my world.
What you're saying is representation matters?
Representation matters, Rock.
It's important.
So when I watch Lynn go to the bump with his gut just dangling, look, he did nothing that they said he would do. They hired him to, be an innings eater. He is eating something. It is not innings. I don't know what it is, but my man is not an innings eater. He's throwing gopher balls. He's fat. What I like about the look of Lynn is he looks like a guy who's just like, all right, honey, me and the guys are going to go drink some Busch lattes out in the garage and listen to Merle Haggard. You in? She's like, no, we're going to the mall. I'm like, well, tough. We're going to throw a couple of dogs on the grill and we're going to listen to Conway Twitty, and drink Busch Light. Like that's why I love him so much. For 2 games, I can ignore the fact that he is not an innings eater. He is not giving up fewer home runs than he used to. He's literally doing absolutely nothing that they said he would do. But he's sassy and angry, and he's always yelling at someone, and I don't know who it is. Who are you yelling at? Every time he strikes someone out, he's like, yeah! And walks off the mound, and his guts hanging over his pants, and you're like, this is my guy. And maybe it's because we're 4-4 and we're winning ball, which is sad that 4-4 is a good thing for us now, but I don't care. We're 4-4. Last year we were 9-20. So 4-4 I will take. Come from behind win I will take. So I can accept the fact that Lynn is doing absolutely nothing they said he would do, but he's endearing because he's fat and bearded. And he yells at the sky. Don't know who he's yelling at. Who's he yelling at? Don't know, but he's yelling at someone, and it's fun.
He's yelling conversely either at the ball or the air, because the ball just keeps jumping off the bat, and the air is not thick enough, and the ball just keeps sailing right through it as teams just hit home run after home run.
Here's what I think. I think that he didn't get angry when Jake Berger hit those home runs, because in his mind he just goes, Berger.
He goes to the St. Louis kid, by the way, for hitting 2 home runs in his first game ever in St. Louis.
It used to be guys who played for us would hit their first home run in their first. We don't do that much anymore, but good for him. And we won. And that's all that matters to me, man. It was a great opening day. Opening day is a special, special day. It really is. Opening day is a great day. What are you laughing at?
Marsh's burner texted and said, who are you yelling at? You have a microphone.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
I'm going to be honest. St. Louis is the most boring radio city in America. And just because you grew up listening to KMOX and boring-ass people like that, just because I have a little personality about me, don't come at me. Just because you're boring people doesn't mean I have to be boring people. I have energy about what I do, right? I grew up listening to KMOX as well. And then I decided this is terrible. So I stopped listening to KMOX. Why is it that when someone gets on the radio and they're excited and they have energy about what they do, that's bad to you people? You wonder why no exciting players want to play here. You wonder why we got Paul Goldschmidt here. You wonder why boring people play here? Because you don't like exciting people. You're boring.
It's studious. Paul Goldschmidt's studious.
Not boring. That's it.
He's studious.
My God, I'm an excited person. I have energy about what I do because I enjoy what I do. Just because you're miserable and sit around with your thumb in your ass all day and you're a fuddy-duddy, I can't wait for Bud Sports Open Line to come on. Can't wait till we get a break now. Can't wait till maybe Tom Herr comes in for an interview.
Happy birthday to Tommy Herr yesterday.
I know, Lancaster, Pennsylvania's own. See, now Tommy Herr caught a stray. Now, it's not fair. That was not nice to Tommy Herr. I'm sorry. I take back what I said. I love Tom Herr. Who doesn't love Tom
Shocking
Herr?
reaction here. Somebody says, well, I guess I'll go listen to KMOX now.
You should. If that's what you're into, go listen to whatever the little girl and guy show is that's probably... Look, I am so confident that what I am doing is superior to that I give you the invite to go listen. And you will go listen for 2 minutes and you go, okay, I'm turning this off. This is terrible. I'd rather hear the guy yell for an hour.
You can have energy, but don't be loud, you ass clown.
So wait a minute. Being loud is now bad. Okay, so you can't be loud.
Hey, it's not like they have any way to control your volume.
I don't have any way to control my volume. I'm a passionate person. Can you slow my voice down in some way? Can we go deep? Can we deepen my voice?
If you could artificially slow down people's voices, my career would be years ahead of where it is right now.
Yeah. No, here's what you need to do. Put me in that Drugs Inc. tone where my face is blocked out or I'm wearing a skull scarf across my face and I'm like, yeah, well, we sold 45 kilos. Maybe that's me. I don't know. I might just leave. It's fat. I get it if you don't like my opinions, but the idea that somehow a guy having energy on the radio is somehow poison, what am I doing here?
618, bro got asked why he was yelling and chose complete violence.
Yes.
I agree.
This is what I do. I'm a loud person. I know you're not used to that. I respect that you're not used to people who actually sound like they have a pulse on the radio in St. Louis. I get it. I will gladly throw darts because I'm tired of getting crapped on by you people. I come in here and I do nothing but love. I come in and love. I come from a place of warmth and compassion, and this is what I get instead. What I get instead is so much hate and you wonder why all these players don't want to play here. They're like, why do players not want to come to St. Louis anymore? You're boring. That's why. That's why Paul Goldschmidt's the best it's ever going to be. We're boring here. And I'm sorry that I have, I'm seeing these texts. Please leave.
It also says, he also said, watch your mouth about STL, dummy.
I live here. I feel pretty confident in saying that we're a boring cow town.
Lived here my entire life. Yeah, it's not wrong. You're not wrong.
Look, I love this place, but I'm not going to sit here and take your darts and not give them back. I know there's a lot of pussies on the radio in this town that wouldn't bring it back to you. Don't dump that. Don't you dump that. You don't have to dump that. I've been on the radio for 1,000 years. I know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable to say. I know.
If Tim won't say it in that chair, then I stay away from it.
No, but they'll talk to chicks about their vagina. Sorry, dump that too. But I come in here and I'm like, hey, I'm excited. And you guys are like, screw this guy.
Were you this excited yesterday during the Cardinals game, especially when they took the lead late? I was
hammered during the Cardinals game.
So you were excited.
So I didn't go. So here's what happened yesterday. Thank you for asking. No problem. So yesterday, I went down with the intention of going to the ball game. I was going to play the StubHub game, and I was going to go in at the fourth inning after drinking cheap beers. Well, I went to Wheelhouse. I sat down at the bar, right? Things are going good. $5 for a 32-ounce Busch Light. So I decided I'm going to pound a couple of these quickly so I can get a little lubed up and then not buy as many beers in the ballpark, right? That's what I did. The problem is I never left the bar, so I just pounded 3 32-ounce Busch Lights in 10 minutes and then just got hammered sitting at the bar and watched the game at the bar. That's what I did.
That'd be a fun game.
Would you like to know how much?
Roller coaster of a game.
It was great.
I like that.
Let me tell you something. Let me give you
tipsy.
this. Let me tell you something. Sitting at that bar, it was a great time, and I got pretty good and hammered just sitting there. But let me tell you what take a guess. It was me and my wife. What our tab was. We sat there for 4 hours. We didn't order food. It was just beers. Take a guess.
So it's $5 a pop.
Yeah.
So let's go with. I'm gonna go with tax. I'm gonna go with $52.
$58.
Oh, let's go. Okay.
Look at you.
I had one more than I thought. Nicely done.
And you went under, so you win both showcases. So that's great. But yeah, so that was a good time. But then I made the mistake I bought in the fifth inning. I still went to StubHub and bought a $5 ticket just so I could go in. The problem is, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but on StubHub, not everything is automatically sent to you. Sometimes it has to be approved by the person. So I sat there for half an hour waiting for my tickets to come. By the time the tickets got there, it was like the 7th inning. I'm like, I'm just going to drink another beer here. So I didn't actually go to opening day. But my God, opening day is such a great thing here, man. Like, I've been to opening day in Philadelphia, nothing like this. I've been to opening day in Houston, nothing like this. What we do here is special. This is a special, awesome place when it comes to watching baseball, particularly on opening day. And I got good and lubed up enough. When I saw those damn horses run around that ballpark, I'm fighting back tears. I'm sitting there at the bar like, I'm not crying. I sure do miss my grandpa, though. He'd be loving this right now. And then I'm like, here comes the king. You know that Instagram and like TikTok where the girl's crying doing the dance?
Yes.
That's like me doing Here Comes the King while crying at the bar. I'm like, here comes the king, here comes the big number 1. Oh, God, it's a good time, though.
The only
man.
true thing ever said in the movie Moneyball is how can you not be romantic about baseball?
It is.
It's the only true thing from that movie.
No one's romantic about football. Like, who goes to a football game and romanticizes it? Nobody does. Nobody romanticizes basketball. Nobody. But baseball, you do. So when you show up on opening day, and it's awesome, and the Clydesdales, and the legends who are still alive, and speaking of, Ted Simmons, my boy's got beautiful hair.
Beautiful.
I mean, gorgeous hair. He's like a Greek god. Like, he should, like, you know how Whitey used to have that cane, the bat that looked like a cane? Mm-hmm. My man, Ted Simmons, should arrive every opening day with a trident.
I like that.
Like, he should ride in like,
I was going more because the hair, it's got that white thing. I was going to just give him like a lightning bolt.
Yeah,
maybe
totally.
Full Zeus mode.
God. I mean, just look.
He's one of those people, though. You should find a way that when he walks in rooms, there should be fans, and they should
blow air and like his
right in his hair.
God, he's like, there are certain facts of life that are not fair, but they are facts of life. One is that, like, women are inferior athletically to men in terms of, it's science. I'm not saying this to be a dick, but it's science. You are physically inferior strength-wise to men. That's why, like, a woman's never going to go score 30 a night in the NBA, and that's why a man could go to the WNBA and literally score 100 points a game without being stopped. There are certain facts of life. One fact of life, and this is not fair, and I feel bad for women for this. Men get better looking as they get older, and most women do not. And that is not fair to women, because women have to go through a lot of stuff. I don't know if you guys knew this. Women have to give birth. Not a comfortable thing from everything I've heard. Not great. I mean, can you imagine that? Rock, do you want to give birth?
No, I'm out.
See? But women do that. That is what they do.
And that's why they're tougher than me.
Yeah, there you go. But if you look at that situation and you say, what's fair and unfair? It is unfair that a woman does not, generally speaking, get better looking with age, but men do. Ted Simmons wasn't some dreamboat when he played. I got a picture of him when I was a baby. He looks miserable. But as an older guy, I mean, he is gorgeous. He is a gorgeous man, and like, totally, right? And then you got that. I mean, think about it, like George Clooney. George Clooney was not that good looking when he was like the handyman on Facts of Life, was he? And he really wasn't that good looking on ER. But look at him now.
Explain Martha Stewart.
Look, I did not say every case. First of all, Martha Stewart was hot when she was younger, too. And Martha Stewart can get it, my friend. But also,
You and Snoop Dogg have that in common.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, there is that. But also, not really a fun fact, but let me give you another example. Mary Steenburgen is an example of a woman who aged much better. Like, if you watch the movie Parenthood with Steve Martin, right? The original Parenthood. You watch that and you're like, she's fine. Like, she's okay looking, but whatever. But then you see her in Step Brothers. Like, hi, Don. Hey, can I come over and touch your face? Sure. Like you look at Mary Steenburgen in her 60s, much hotter than Mary Steenburgen in her 30s. Same for Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. What's her name? What's the place Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman? She was the one, Jane Seymour. So Jane Seymour as Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman wasn't all that attractive. But when you see her in Wedding Crashers, it's like, your mom made me touch her hooters. Like, when you see her in that, like, pervert, you're like, that's hot, you know? But all that to tell you that Ted Simmons still looks great. All right, more on 101 ESPN after this, you schmucks. Hey, how about Burley getting a knock yesterday, too? Fresh off of me saying he sucked. What do I know? It's Josh and Rockio in for the balloon party. Glad you guys are with us. Let me tell you, man, I'm enjoying watching these younger dudes play. Like, this is the way it should be. This is what we should be experiencing regularly here. Like, a couple of days ago in the ninth inning when they pinch hit for Walker, like, what are we doing? Let Walker swing. Like, no offense to Burleson, who got a big hit yesterday. Who would you rather have at the plate in that spot? The guy that's going to be your everyday right fielder, or a guy who, in theory, could get sent down? Because I don't know what place they're going to have for him. Like, I don't know how we get into this situation every year with the Cardinals, but they have 14 dudes who could play the outfield. Like, and none of them are particularly good other than Victor Scott, and Newt's good. But, like, it's not like they're loaded with incredible outfielders. Victor Scott, and the reason why Victor Scott should be here, I don't care if he goes 0 for 4, 0 for 4 reaching with an error, scoring a run. By the way, I believe he's the team leader in runs scored. I think he's got 6, he and Donovan. But point being in all of this is when I look at Victor Scott should be here the entire time, and I don't care if he's 1 for 4, he's a 250 hitter, he's a 220 hitter. All it takes is that dude getting on base one time, and it can change the outcome of a game. His speed is special, his glove is special. So when people talk about what's going to happen when Newt comes back, what's going to happen when Edman comes back, what's going to happen is your starting center fielder should still be Victor Scott, because this team, and this is why I'm so excited watching them this year, is, and I've heard BK talk about this too, is they're doing things that winning teams should do that they didn't do last year. Most notably, they're not doing dumb things defensively. How did the door get open in that game yesterday? Because the Marlins did dumb things defensively. Now, it's been 8 games. But the Cardinals are not doing stupid things on the defensive side. And that's why a guy like Victor Scott should always be in this lineup. And oh, by the way, Mason Wynn, who came up with a gigantic hit yesterday as well, there is no excuse for a situation like Wednesday when, well, you know, we're going to give him a day off so he doesn't get burned out. He's 22. He's 22 years old, and we're like, well, we don't want the guy to get tired 7 games into a baseball season. Like, newsflash, baseball doesn't require much effort when you're out there. Like, here's basically what Mason Wynn's going to do throughout the course of a game. Imagine, Rockio, that this over here is second base, and there's a runner on second base. Here's what he's going to do. And then he's going to pop back, and then the pitch is going to come. Like, sweating to the oldies is more effort than doing that.
Day game after a night game.
I don't care. He's 22 years old. Go watch some of these these 18, 17, 16-year-old kids who are in AAU basketball. They play 11 games in a day, and that's basketball.
They don't want to burn him out.
That's stupid. He should be in the lineup every day. I think I speak for most of St. Louis when I say that Brandon Crawford should never see the field. Ever. If you've got Mason Wynn, who's your future shortstop, who is a run saver, and you've got Brandon Crawford, old-ass dude who had his moment forever ago, there is no scenario where I'm like, you know who I want to see? Brandon Crawford. I want to see him play baseball today. Nobody wants to see Brandon Crawford play when you've got Wynn and you've got Victor Scott and these young guys who are providing a fun, exciting type of baseball for us to consume. No one wants to see that. Also, and look, I get that Burleson had the hit yesterday. There is no need in the 9th inning of a 1-run game, and I'm going back 2 days, I understand that. There is no need in that scenario for Jordan Walker to be pinch hit for by anybody. Because in theory, he's a future cornerstone piece of the organization. Like, there's no scenario where, and again, this is apples to apples. It's not a fair comparison. But there's not a situation where Albert Pujols would have been coming up in the 9th inning, and you're like, but we want to make sure we get a couple of reps in there for Alec Burleson. We got to make sure that. No. And again, I'm not saying it's apples to apples, but in our minds and what we've been sold is that Jordan Walker has potential to be a cornerstone piece of the franchise, so there's no reason for him to ever be pinch hit for in that situation.
314 texts in and says, Walker is not ready to be at the MLB level yet. He's really being exposed, and the Scott love is also insane. Your center fielder cannot be hitting 130. By the way, he is right now hitting 100.
Thank you. But he's also scored 6 runs.
Yeah, that is also true. He's tied with, like you said, Donovan with 6 runs.
Correct. Like, I don't know if you guys knew this. The name of the game is to score runs and score more runs than the opposition. Because if we're basing this on, well, in my opinion, a major league starting pitcher should not go 4 innings and give up 4 home runs or whatever the number was for Lance Lynn. If we want to say guys who shouldn't be, a major league player shouldn't be as dreadful as Nolan Arenado's been this year either. Like, and I get that he's got a far greater track record than Victor Scott, but you're out of your effing mind if you don't think that Victor Scott should be on this team and should be in this lineup every day, because there's a lot of ball games that can come down to 1 run, and that guy can get you that 1 run. Just get his ass on base. Or even if he's in a role player position, imagine you get a situation where you're down a run in the 8th and he's on the bench and you can pull a Burleson and put him in there. He's stealing second. You're a bloop away from tying the damn game. So very few teams have that. Very few teams have what we have right here, and that guy shouldn't be down in freaking Memphis in front of 8 people.
Adam W. on the YouTube chat made a great point right alongside that same vein. The only way Wynn and Scott work is by letting them play every day. You never know when the defensive play will happen that changes the game, i.e. the 69-mile-per-hour ball up the middle that Brandon Crawford can't get to.
And I saw BK post that video, I guess, 2 days ago and said, well, basically Mason Wynn gets to that, and I agree. They didn't lose that game because of that one play. They lost because they left a billion runners on base. But I appreciate the point. The point is, this offense is not going to be the kind of offense that's going to outmash people. I don't believe that. So you're going to find yourself, and with this pitching staff, I think you're going to find yourself in a lot of games where 1 run can make or break you. And Brandon Crawford's old ass at short, not being able to range and get to a ball like that, can cost you a game, cost you a run, which can cost you a game. In the same vein, not having the speed of Victor Scott in the game can cost you, whether it be in center field, whether it be on the bases. I am not going to get off of the Victor Scott hill. I have planted my flag atop Victor Scott Mountain. He's my dude. He should be all of our dudes. He's our guy. This is the kind of guy we should embrace watching. Because real talk, he can go 0 for 4 10 games in a row, and I'd rather watch him play right now than Nolan Arenado. Nolan Arenado, big money guy, has been a dud so far this year. A couple of bloops, and I know he had one yesterday. Good. Let's get hot, and then I'll be into watching you. Same with Paul Goldschmidt. Like, I'm not excited watching those guys play, but I'm excited at the prospect of Victor Scott being a game changer on the bases and defensively. That's why the fact he should be here. He should be here all the time. He should never go down.
And also because of Victor Scott, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but Jeff Jones, the Belleville News Democrat, let everyone know this yesterday, which is that Victor Scott has an alter ego. That is, of course, his
Sasha Fierce?
No, that is, of course, his stage name as a rapper. He's called Argo. His walk-up songs are his songs.
Oh.
And I actually really like that.
I don't know, black guy that raps on the Cardinals. I don't know if the
12-year career.
If BFIB can handle that. That's a little ethnic for here, guys.
His second highest rated song on Spotify, explicit.
Oh, boy. I tell you what. You know what? I take it back. He's not cut out for here. I take it back. I don't know if a guy that's got explicit lyrics in his rap songs is okay. We can handle Nelly because he's basically white at this point. But I don't know that we can handle Victor Scott.
I love that he's got a second thing going. I like that he has the confidence to say, yeah, 40,000 people, 60,000 people, play my music in front of all of them when I'm up there. I love that he's got that kind of talent. Good for him.
He's like baseball Flaugier.
There you go. I like that.
They win a game and Flaugier pops out. It's like, get my new single.
Hold on a second. Now you bring up Flaugier. I got to say, the video that Angel Reese dropped going to the WNBA. First of all, baller move to announce that you're going to the NBA in a Vogue article.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. But the video she posted, one of the last lines before she said, "Bye you Barbie out," was, "I trust to the next chapter in my life because I know the author." And I'll tell you this right now, I got to know if she got that bar from her teammate, because that is an absolute bar. Yeah. I trust the next chapter of my life because I know the author. That's a great line. I want to steal that someday.
Yeah. You got to do something successful before you can do that.
That's true. I got to do that too.
All right, we're back after this on 101 ESPN.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Big win last night for the Cardinals as they take down the Marlins 8-5 to start out the series. Game 2 will be tomorrow, 1:15 p.m. First pitch will be Trevor Rogers, the lefty, facing off against Steven Matz for the Cardinals. Also, the Blues were in action yesterday. They fall to the Predators 6-3. They will be back in action tomorrow, a 5 p.m. puck drop facing off against the San Jose Sharks. You can catch the pregame show starting at 4. That's your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
ESPN.
Well, at least the Blues are put out of their misery now. It was a long time coming. That was the worst kind of season because it was like purgatory. You knew they were never actually going to make a run, but then they'd win just enough and you'd go, okay, I'm back in. I'm invested again. And fortunately, I think the end of the road was last night, as they are 4-5 against the 4 worst teams in the league. That's not going to get you in. And, of course, 0-3 against Nashville, and none of them have been particularly close. I guess last night was the closest. It was 4-3, then it was 6-3. We got 2 empty netters. My God, I love an empty netter. Empty netters bring me so much joy. I'd prefer my team getting the empty netters, or if I took the over in all the goals and all of the games on FanDuel. I also love empty netters. But empty netters bring me so much joy. The drama of somebody shooting one like 90 feet and it going in just makes me happy. I don't know why. There's certain little simple pleasures that I get from sport. One of them is watching lady tennis players take the tennis ball out of their tights. That turns me on a lot. And then I like empty net goals. Those are my 2 favorite things in sports. I'm simple. But at least the Blues season has mercifully been put to bed. We can pour one out for our departed homies.
I like passing big men and running back by committees that are good.
You're white. I get it.
I don't know why.
Those are things you like. I like passing big men. You like the Joker. You're wearing the Joker shirt.
I also like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Fun fact about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Robbie Avila, the man on the Indiana State Syracuse. Syracuse? No, wait, no.
Sycamore. Yes, the
Syracuse
Indiana State Syracuse.
Sorry, Sycamores is what I meant. By
Syracuse
the way,
of Indiana.
Maybe the Sycamores head coach will soon be the Billikens head coach.
Yeah, but you're not going to get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with him.
Why not?
Well, I don't know. Is he still playing? Or is he going pro?
He's a sophomore.
Is he going pro?
No, he's not going to go pro.
No, you don't say.
No. Not so
No way.
Zach, you can't get drafted in the second round.
Look, I am offended by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar only because when I was in high school.
Oh, fine. What about Larry Nerd?
No, I'm fine with the name.
Okay.
I'm upset by the idea that somehow, like, I wasn't Kareem Abdul-Jabbar before this guy was.
I saw this picture on X, and legitimately,
I was him.
You look exactly like Robbie Avila. It's insane. It's insane.
And I did hit 3 threes in a high school basketball game once.
Look at you.
Once.
How much did you get yelled at by the coach for taking
the first time I shot it a lot. Okay. I got yelled at by everyone. We're running the flex offense, right? So, like, you pop up to one wing. You're supposed to pass it to the other wing, pick down, open up, flare out to the corner. When the ball rotates, you go through, call for it. They're never going to pass it to you because you're me. But anyway, so I caught it, and the guy sagged. I'm like, all right, buddy, let's dance. I told him. I didn't say that, but boy, that would have been something. I should have, like, waved him over, like, come on, bro.
Did the ball spin in your hand? Like one of those?
I caught it, and I go, watch this. And I shot it, and everybody, like, in unison goes, no! And it went in, and, like, I was even surprised. I'm like, oh, cool. Same thing happened, like, 2 or 3 trips down the floor again. Nobody guarded me, so I said, basically it was an extended free throw is all it was. Like, you move back 2 feet from a free throw in high school, it's a 3. So I said, all right, I'll do it again. Bang, hit that one. 3rd time the guy sagged, hit it again. I pulled one of the MJs. I'm like, I don't know.
You're going to look me in the face and tell me you didn't have a Bill Walton poster on it up in your room? Come on.
I didn't.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know how you didn't.
But I hit 3 threes in that game. I scored 19 points. And I can tell you that I don't believe I scored 19 points the rest of the time I played basketball in high school. But it was my one shining moment. And, like, after the game, I thought, I guess this is just how it works. I guess I'm a baller now. So, like, I'm in the locker room, and I'm, like, high-fiving people like, we got this. We're going to win the whole damn thing now. And then, like, the next game I came out and, like, didn't even shoot or play. It was just one of those moments, you know? I guess I should point out the people we were playing against were in wheelchairs. But
Also, to your point, my first ever running back committee I really liked was Mike Allstott and Michael Pittman. So
you seem like an Allstott guy. You seem like that kind of hard on.
I liked Mike Allstott a lot.
Like Allstott, it was it was the last game ever played at Veterans Stadium in Philly. Yeah. It was the NFC Championship game, and the whole world was like, you know what? Tampa's never won a game in like less than 40 degrees. So like Allstott walks out and he's like ripped up, and then they went out there and they won.
They actually did, yeah.
So that seems like the kind of guy you'd be into. Can I tell you who I was as a white dude who I was into?
When the Rams drafted Brian Leonard, I was ready.
Like, I'm in.
I was ready.
I'm in. I was a big JJ Redick guy.
Oh yeah,
loved JJ Redick.
I hated him coming out.
Hated Adam Morrison. I hate him now, but I loved him as a player. But he seems like a real DB now. Like he's like politics aside, I don't care. He just seems smarmy and douchey. Now he's got a podcast with LeBron, who we know is smarmy and douchey.
You're talking about a Duke player.
Yeah, but like not all. I guess most of them are douchey. Yeah. But the thing is, like, I can see where people wouldn't have liked like Grayson Allen in college, but like JJ Redick,
cheap shot artist.
But JJ Redick would go out there and pull up from like mid court and splash, and you're like, this is exciting to watch. Now he's just very douchey on a podcast, and like he doesn't do anything for me.
There's a great video out there that details JJ Redick's rivalry with Maryland fans. Mm-hmm. And it is one of the it's a fascinating video on YouTube. Watch it, because I don't think people understand exactly like how personal college basketball was in like 2004.
Yes,
it was insanely personal.
I could name 5 dudes that play college basketball now, but back then it really was.
Man. And the Maryland fans tortured him.
Well, God, I was a big Mizzou guy in the early 2000s, and like you'd watch him play guys like Paget from Kansas. Who am I thinking? No, the big dude. Who's the big dude from Kansas? Who am I thinking of? We hated Kansas. Like, we just hated everything about Kansas. Like, Kirk Heinrich. You'd hate Kirk Heinrich. Like, guys like that, you know? But all that to tell you this, just while we're doing this, and then we'll move on. So, tonight is the lady basketball game. And a couple days ago, Paul Pierce said basically the white chick earned his respect because the little white girl went out there and beat all the black people, and people were all like offended by this, like, oh, why she got to be white? As someone who has played basketball at a fairly high level, high school, and scored a lot of points in a game once, 19, I grew up playing basketball. What he said is factual. When you'd roll up and there's like 9 black dudes and there's you're white boy. That's what you are referred to as. That is how people look at you when you're a white dude trying to play basketball. It's like most of the dudes on my team had no clue what my actual name was. You know what my name was to them? White boy. That's who I was. Like, and I accept it. When you go on the road, like, dude, every time we'd play a team, and I'd come into the game or somebody would sub into the game that I was in, always to a man. All right, I got white boy. That's just how it went. Like, it does, like, I don't understand why that was such an offensive or horrible thing to say. That's the truth.
Have these people never seen Larry Bird?
Larry Bird got offended when white people would guard him. Like, that's just the way basketball is. But like, that's like, people were so appalled, like they never heard that what Paul Pierce said. It's reality.
Someone's throwing out saying Scott Pollard or Nick Collison.
Nick Collison.
Okay.
Who the hell did David Paget play for? Who the hell did I make up David Paget?
No, you didn't.
Who the hell did he play for?
He played for Louisville.
Okay.
And then coached him.
Was there a David that played for Kansas at any point?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I swear, I thought the guy's name was... I hated him so much, I don't remember his name.
I do not know early 2000s KU, I'm sorry.
But we know early 2000s Mizzou basketball. Kareem Rush, Clarence Gilbert.
Yeah, I know it a little bit better.
Little Wesley Stokes action in there. Little Arthur Johnson.
All about Arthur
little
Johnson.
Trayvon Bryant. Little Josh Kroenke action in there. Jesus. We are
very little action in there.
Very little action in there. Actually, no, he played more than you would think. Like, Josh Kroenke played a lot for Mizzou.
Someone's saying Greg Ostertag, but I think they've lost the...
now you're just naming white people.
Yeah, now you're just naming very tall white men.
Like, Luke Longley. Like, no, you're just naming white people. That's not what we're looking for.
Somebody's now saying Scott Paget. Is there a different Paget?
Something like... Either way, he was white, is all I'm saying. There's a white guy, and he was tall.
Collison was annoying.
Yes.
That's a good one.
There we go. Now we know.
Not as annoying as the Marquis or as the Morris twins, but nonetheless.
Oh, the Morris twins are... Well, I didn't mind them. But I'll tell you, like, boy, remember what it was like? Like things mattered, and like Mizzou would go to Ames, and they couldn't win at Iowa State, basically. Yep. And it's like that doesn't exist anymore. When people say the women's game is more interesting than men's college basketball, they're not wrong. That's all going to fade away when this Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese stuff goes away. Like next year, no one's going to care.
Again, I said it earlier today. I think it's because the NBA was right, and people like watching shooting more than watching people plotting down on the left block. And right now, what you have in college basketball is a bunch of big men dominating, and what you have in women's college basketball is a bunch of guards going crazy, and that's more fun to watch.
Why don't you just stop this chick from going left? Like, if you notice, every shot she takes, she hops to the left. Like, stop her from doing that, and then you win.
You'd be surprised how many times in college basketball you see something like that. You're just like, just stop the player from doing that. Take away their offhand. Yeah. There's a guy who just became a college coach here in the United States who coached up in Canada, and he coached the Duke of Canada. It's like Canville College or something like that. They've won a ton of championships up there. And he apparently has this groundbreaking defensive system, and number one is always force players to their offhand. And like, I respect that, but how is that? Is that really that's really the first tenet of a groundbreaking defensive system?
Yeah.
Isn't forcing every player to their opposite hand a fairly good way to build your defense and game plan for each and every team you face?
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you, and this is not breaking news either. Defense in basketball is about effort.
What?
Yeah. If you just try, a lot of times you can stop people. That's all it is. There's no real science behind this. People can tell you about all the neat things they do in their zones, and their 1-3-1, and their 2-2-1s, and their 1-2-2s, and presses. Just try. And if you're a better athlete, you'll probably stop somebody. Like James Harden. Everybody says, why is James Harden such a crappy defender? Because he doesn't try.
Yeah, when he actually tries, he actually
like literally the dude can block the dude blocks every guy can beat him, and he'll just block the guy. But it's all about effort. And if you don't have effort, then
watch Alex Caruso. A great, obviously he's a great athlete for being like 6'4". He can jump out of the gym. But when you watch him play defense, he makes so many of his plays because he never stops moving, and he never stops being just 100% at every spot possible. And here's the thing. A lot of guys in the NBA have to be both one of their team's top 3 scorers and have to do it. That's why Klay Thompson is so underrated, because he was the second leading scorer, and he would also play the best guard or wing on the other team for the Warriors every single game. And so like two-way players like that are criminally underrated because no one gives them the credit for not being their team's leading scorer. Klay Thompson easily almost as important, I'll say just as important as Steph Curry in the Warriors run.
I have found your passion.
There it is.
It is talking about NBA players playing defense.
Sorry, guys.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Well, it's because all I hear from people, including a lot of texters today, is, well, there's no defense in the NBA. And I simply disagree with that statement.
The shooters are just better.
That's the other thing is like, hey.
Okay, I don't want to continue this. Let's stop this conversation. I'm bored now, too. I respect them. You're right. This is boring. I'm sorry that I put a quarter in Rockio here. I'm learning him. I had no idea that breaking down the NBA defenses was something that you were so passionate about.
Aha, suck it.
Okay, we'll wrap it up after this.
Telly Tire is your hometown tire experts with the best prices, largest selection, same-day service, and expert auto service, including a no-hassle 3-year, 30,000-mile warranty. Save now on tires and service and visit Telly Tire's newest location in Creve Coeur. For more than 80 years, Telly Tire has been the best place for tires and auto service. And right now, get great deals on tires and service with rebates on select tires, wheel alignments, and check out our wild card special. Plus, don't miss Telly Tire's newest location in Creve Coeur.
Alex Ferrario with you to talk about my friends over at Classic Air Care, an HVAC system that has been in the Ferrario family for 30 years. And what I mean by that is my dad has been using Classic Air Care since he has owned a home here in the St. Louis area. And let me tell you, the customer service is at an all-time high because I always know that they're taking care of me. And people know that as well. They've been being used since 1926, making people comfortable in that time frame. And when it comes to HVAC systems, you want honesty, you want truth. You want to make sure that when you're putting a lot of money into an HVAC system, that they're being upfront with you. And I have had that experience. I've talked with them about purchasing a new HVAC system. I haven't had to yet because, man, they've been keeping mine alive for about 26 years. So give them a call today. Tell them Alex Ferrario sent you. And if you're interested, they got an 18-month 0% financing option available for your HVAC system. It's Classic Air Care, classicaircare.com.
Back to the balloon party with Tim McKernan and Action Jackson on 101 ESPN.
Driven by Munganast and Burkhardt, Alton Toyota.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about Ted Simmons' hair again. It's gorgeous. It's a mane. Like, you would call it a mane, wouldn't you? Like, it flows.
So I've always thought the Simba nickname is just, like, so perfect for him.
Yeah,
because he literally has a mane.
Man, let me tell you, I want to meet Ted Simmons, and I just want to ask him how he does it. Like, what do you do? Like, what is your secret, Theodore?
He's got to be somebody who's like, well, he's like, I take rare fish oils and run them through my locks once a week. Like, it's going to be something like crazy and like a little bit.
He's like, you couldn't afford it. I bought it from a shaman.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, exactly. Well, in a remote part of Chile, there's an ayahuasca that's only made there, and it's going to be something like that.
Well, once a month, a flatbed truck comes through town, and
they just throw a cardboard box off the back. They don't even stop. If you ever wondered, hey, why is that homeless person looking so great with that hair? It's because they got my shipment before I could.
Oh, God, that's beautiful.
I also love Ted Simmons because he came out as like a 60-year-old and was like, the only reason I'm getting in the Hall of Fame is because the nerds And that's just like the fact that he had the wherewithal to actually be like aware of like, no one wanted to put me in the Hall of Fame 20 years ago. And then a bunch of nerds came around. So thank you to the nerds.
Hey,
I appreciate the honesty from him.
That's lovely. I'm here for this. But anyway, my name is Josh, and that's Rockio. And we're in for the balloon party today for a few more minutes. Fun ball game yesterday. It's exciting to have exciting baseball. But something that was even more exciting is when John Mozeliak was introduced and he got booed. That gives me hope. There's two booing occurrences that have happened recently that have restored my faith in us as St. Louis fans. One was that, and then two was about a week or so ago when the Blues just completely didn't show against San Jose. And everybody booed mercilessly. And at the end of the game, I'm like, yes. Maybe we're kind of out of this we cheer for everybody thing. Like, guy robs a home run to win the game for the other team, and we give him a standing ovation thing. Look, and we have great sports fans here. We should have the NFL here. There's a lot of things that are great about us. But I think sometimes we do things just so people will pat us on the back and say, those are good sports fans. Philly does the same thing. Like, you've never seen a group of people more proud of themselves when they gave a standing ovation to Trey Turner and then he hit a home run. They're like, we did it. We fixed him. But a lot of times Cardinal fans, us, I don't point the finger at you and say Cardinal fans. I say we, us, because I am one of you. But, like, how many times do you have to give a former player a standing ovation when he comes back? Like, first time he comes back, you're like, hey, it's David Freese. And then literally every at-bat David Freese ever has for any other team in Busch Stadium, it's a nonstop standing ovation.
And in fact, we did that so much that David Freese says, oh, my God, please, never again.
Like,
no,
I don't want to be in your Hall of Fame. I don't want your Hall of Fame here.
I'm tired of your standing ovations.
It makes me uncomfortable. I am uncomfortable with this adulation. Stop. But, like, I think sometimes we do that just so we can say, yeah, best fans in baseball. We gave a standing ovation to John Jay when he came back.
636 says it was classless for them to boo.
Oh, no.
Because the greatest living Cardinal was there.
Wait a second, what?
He said, classless. Yesterday wasn't the day for it. Booing with the greatest living Cardinals there. Disappointment.
Oh, Cardinals.
Yes.
Plural. I was wondering which person he considered the greatest of them. I'm going to guess Ozzy.
I omitted the S on the first one.
Bad job by you. Do better. You're right. God forbid Ozzie Smith have to hear the fans boo the general manager or baseball president of baseball operations. God forbid his virgin ears have to hear this. I mean, what's going to happen to Whitey Herzog when he hears these boos? What are we going to do? Okay, I'll see you Monday. Goodbye.